today it's time for another of my colour palette projects. This is the colour palette I've chosen for November based on this beautiful photograph of some leaves. Lovely shades of mauve and berry and deep violet, really nice, and something different for me to be working in shades of basically one colour for a change. As always, all of my colour palettes are from designseeds.com and I'll pop a link to that below in the description. Today we're going to be doing some simple sort of basic folk art painting, really, just to create some nice cards with a pretty floral and foliage design. I'm going to show you how to make one of these. I've done a few in different colours just to show the different effects that you can get. And I'm going to be using some gouache paint from Arteza today. So I'm going to clear these out of the way and I'll be right back and show you how to do it. When I chose this colour palette with its beautiful shades of mauve and berry and deep purples and violets, I wanted to use my gouache paints simply because it has a really good range of colours in that area. The paints I'm using are part of this set of 60 gouache colours by Arteza, and I did do a review of these earlier in the year and swatched them all out, and I'll link to that up in the corner there. There is a link to the Arteza stores, both the European one for those of you in the UK and Europe and the US store down below if you want to take a look. They're really nice. I've used them both direct from the tube, plus I have made up a palette and have let some dry in a palette that you can reconstitute with water. Today I'm going to be using them direct from the tube. I've chosen these colours here, which just really seem to fit in nicely. I've got rose, pearl purple, iris, violet, mauve, wineberry and taupe. Really nice colours, fit this beautiful colour palette perfectly. These work fabulously well on coloured card stock, especially dark colours as well as white. For the purposes of this video, I am using actually a lighter shade of purple, just simply so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. If I work on a very dark coloured cardstock, you'll have a little difficulty seeing the early steps of what I'm doing. And the simplest way to go about creating this foliage circle, it's quite a sort of folk art design really, is I've created myself a simple stencil, a mask. I've die cut a circle out of a piece of cardstock. This is just some, grey cardstock, cereal box type card. And I'm just going to pop that over my piece of purple cardstock. This is like 6 inches square approximately. Just a nice size that I can just trim and put on a card front basically. I'm going to just hold that in place with a bit of masking tape, and this is really just a guideline for me to keep my design within this circular area. Now if you want to go ahead and draw some little leaves, or if you want to just go in and freehand paint some leaves and petals, go ahead. These are quite simple designs and I'm sure many of you will be able to do that. But for those of you with not so much confidence, who are not sure whether or not they're going to be able to do that very successfully, I found a really simple starting point is to use some stamps. And today this is a set of Gina K design stamps. This is her Wreath Builder set. And I just like the fact that it's got these little simple leaves and flower shapes. So I've chosen a couple of them. I've got them onto my block and I've just chosen a grey ink pad. Now I would suggest use something as pale as you can get away with, but you can still see where you're stamping it. I mean, obviously I'm hoping that you're going to be able to see this, so I'm using, this is a fairly dark grey. But basically this, if you're sitting next to your piece of cardstock, you'll be able to see something a lot paler. You don't particularly want to be able to see this ink when you've finished. We will be painting over it, but just in case you sort of miss a little bit or you're not that tidy, choose a fairly pale colour or a similar colour to your background. It's just going to be there as a starting point and a guideline really. I've chosen archival because it is waterproof. I don't want to risk it maybe bleeding out when I apply my paint to it. And as I say, it's there more as a starting point than anything. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp the various little flowers and leaf designs that I've chosen from this set to pretty much fill within this circle aperture. Now, I don't want my designs to overhang and be cut off. I want them all to be within there. And to get a nice smooth finish at around the outside when I've finished, I'm going to be doing some little dots. So don't worry too much if you're not right up against the edge. So I'm going to get on with my stamping, probably just speed it up because, you know, it's a little time-consuming process stamping all these small elements. And this is basically going to be the starting point for us to go in with the paint and add some colour.
You could see yourself just sitting there on my chair. I'm staring at you, you don't even notice. Should have told you straight away, you don't have to be afraid anymore. I know you haven't noticed.
That's pretty much filled, fairly evenly distributed. Don't worry about the stamping being perfect or not. The whole point of this is we're going to be painting over the top of the stamped images. So I'm going to add a little bit more paint into my palette. I'm running low on a couple of the colours here. And I've got myself just a really nice fine paintbrush and a little bit of water. And I'm going to go and paint each individual element in a different colour. So for example, all of the daisies are going to be one colour, all of the single leaves are going to be one colour. And it's just really simple and quite a therapeutic process once you start.
You could see yourself just sitting there on my chair. I'm staring at you, you don't even notice. Should have told you straight away, you don't have to be afraid anymore. I know you haven't noticed.
Once you've painted over all the elements that you've stamped, if you feel that there is sort of some larger spaces there, just go in with some dots, simple leaf shapes, simple petal shapes, just to fill it in a little bit more. Again, just using the colours that we've already used.
You could see yourself.
And the final stage really is to frame it with this circular shape, so that when we remove the mask, you can see that it is designed within a circle. And for that, I'm going to use the pearlescent paint, doesn't matter which one you choose. And I'm just going to do some dots, sort of starting round the edge, and as if they were fading away in towards the centre. And that's our painting finished. So what we can do now is just remove the masking tape, remove the cardboard mask, and just allow this to dry. And once that's dried, we can trim it down if necessary, add a sentiment, make it into a card. And I hope you agree, it's a really, really pretty way of doing some original artwork, but nothing too complicated. Even, you know, beginners can do this. There's nothing difficult about it. So I'm going to clear this out of the way, get this dried, get these onto card, and I'll be back to show you what it looks like when it's finished. And here's the finished card that we've made today. As you can see, I've got a couple of others done on different coloured backgrounds, and I do much prefer the effect of the gouache on a very dark background. This is a super dark purple card, and I just think there's something about the opacity and the mattness of these gouache. They look really, really cool on a deep colour. But I've used the exact same colours for all three of these, and they all look totally different because of the backgrounds. I've just finished them off with some of the Tim Holtz small talk phrases, just mapped them onto a little bit of contrasting card and attached them on. And they're just a really pretty thing. I think this would look fabulous done inside a heart shape. You know, you could mask off a circle and just put the design around the outside and put the stamp sentiment or something in the centre. There's lots of ways of using this particular technique to create lots of different projects. But please do go and check out the links to the Arteza gouache below and the review that I did a while ago. They are really, really nice paints, and gouache seems to be having some sort of a revival at the moment. It's become an awful lot more popular than it had been in previous years. I hope you agree that I've sort of met my colour palette well this time. Really nice to work in basically shades of one tone, something that I don't do very often. I tend to use a lot of contrast when I'm using bright colours. But as always, if you enjoyed this, please leave me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. On the end card, I'll also link to the playlist that I've got for all of these colour palettes. I've been doing one every month. There's one more to go for December. So if you fancy checking out those, please do stay around to the end and have a look there. But that's all for today. I shall see you again soon. Bye.
Hey, I wish you could see yourself.